Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 14th, and here we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. We got Washington, Oregon off to the right. You can see the Gulf of Alaska low. It is churning here, and we've got some systems going to be rounding the base of this trough and pointed at the Pacific Northwest. Big pattern changes incoming here. We're going to take a look at those details. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as always as we go through the video here this morning. Taking a look, you can actually see the lenticular cloud activity this morning off of the Olympic Mountains. I was hoping something would fire off Mount Rainier. Does not look like it did so much. Good thing I didn't drive out there to go for sunset pictures, but I could kind of see that from my house out there, and not much in the way of cloud activity there across the Cascades. But you can see this frontal system that is moving in here just now over Vancouver Island in western BC. This does have some precipitation with it. As we go through the day, that's going to move in across western Washington, western Oregon, and eventually as we go through tomorrow, it's going to sweep across some eastern portions, and then we got a stronger frontal system rolling in here on the day Wednesday. And if we take a look here at SeaTac yesterday, 72 degrees. It was quite warm there yesterday. It's 11 degrees above average, no precipitation, but that is going to be changing coming up here. And again, we're behind on the precipitation so far this month, only 0.78. We usually average closer to 4 inches for the month, so we got some catching up to do. Weekly weather outlook. This is from Spokane. You can clearly see the pattern change incoming here. Look at that, the highs today, some mid-70s. Even Tuesday is going to be another fairly warm day, and then we start to bring those temperatures rapidly down as we go through Thursday and Friday. Showers, some wind, and we do have some snow potential for the higher terrain as well. I'll show you that here in a moment. I also wanted to point out beach hazard statements. This should go all the way up the Washington coast towards Vancouver Island as well. This is sneaker wave activity here. This goes on in through a Monday evening tonight. And the waves are going to remain elevated for the next several days, maybe up over a week as well. So watch out for that. Do not turn your back on the ocean. A good rule to live by if you're going out to the Washington, Oregon, Vancouver Island coastlines. And I've selected this station here near Cape Disappointment or Long Beach. You can see we've got Astoria out over here and the Columbia River. And actually, let me back up here one more set there, and we'll look at this. You can see it does show the advisories that you are under, and if you're on the coastline, beach hazard statements there, you can click on that. It gives you all the information, very handy. And there's a widget that's behind my picture here that you can click on there, and you can see all your data, stores it all for you in the cloud. Click on that link down below if you want to save 10% off on that. And now we're going to go back to the wave action here. I do want to show you this. The waves are increasing as we go through the day today, and they will remain elevated as we go through tomorrow also. And then we're going to get that system that comes through on Wednesday, and we're going to keep some of this wave action going. Then a very deep low looks like it's going to form over the Gulf of Alaska here as we go towards the end of the week, and you see it spreading some wave action here towards the Pacific Northwest as well. Pretty typical fall stuff here, but we are going to start to kick up the waves. Might make for some nice wave watching at times. Now, taking a look here, this is where we are currently. There's that frontal system right off the coast and bringing some nice rainfall to Vancouver Island, western BC as we go through the day today. Scroll through late morning hour here. This is about 11 a.m. and here we go towards about 5 p.m. here. Precipitation starting across western Washington as we go through the early afternoon hours. You can see that frontal system moving towards the Cascades, but not making too much headway just yet. But as we go through the day Tuesday, some of that precipitation is going to start coming off eastern portions as we go through Tuesday night. And then we get the frontal system on Wednesday swooping through here. Another shot of rain, some very cold air aloft behind that. Convergent zone activity, snowfall for the mountains, and yeah, lots of showery activity here as we go on in through Thursday. And then you can see this very strong mid-latitude cyclone developing here across the Gulf of Alaska. Check it out. You can see atmospheric river activity in towards western BC here, and that will eventually be spreading down the west coast towards Washington there, right at the end of the run, the European run, 144 hours out. This would be about next Saturday. So yeah, we're going to have several systems rolling through here as we go through the upcoming weekend. The very warm days, like the one we experienced yesterday, are likely for the most part done here for the season. I don't like to say anything with complete certainty, but it is highly unlikely we're going to be back into the 70s with nice sunny skies for Seattle until probably sometime next, maybe late winter or spring coming up next year. We'll see how that goes, though. No promises. Now, taking a look at 10-meter wind speeds, I do want to show you here the frontal system initially there. And then we get that westerly flow here as we go through the day Wednesday, and we get that cold air aloft rolling in here. But what I want to show you is this mid-latitude cyclone developing out across the Gulf of Alaska as we get through the extended forecast. You can see this is where the cold front would be. You can kind of see me scrolling back and forth. This would be the warm front right there. And where the warm front and the cold front meet, that is the occluded front here. And then we call it the bent back occlusion that wraps back around behind the low pressure center. So very dynamic mid-latitude cyclone with a strong atmospheric river is going to be pointed at the west coast of North America here and potentially spreading down across Washington state as we go through the upcoming weekend there. Now, taking a look at 18,000 feet, you guys know if you've been watching the channel, I like to show what is going on above us. This is 500 millibar temperatures, again, 18,000 feet. This is the temperature aloft. And watch as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday. Look at this polar lobe just swing down across the area, that northwest flow. That's what's going to give us the chance for some snow for the higher terrain. And everybody's going to feel this cool down as we go on in through the week. And then you can see the warm air in advance of that next very strong low pressure system across the Gulf of Alaska. And if we take a look here, initial frontal system as we go through the day today, and then we get Wednesday's frontal system here, and then this mid-latitude cyclone developing. Look at that atmospheric river pointed towards western British Columbia, the potentially draping down across Oregon, Washington and Oregon as we go through the extended forecast. Again, that's a little bit of a fantasy forecast out there, this mid-latitude cyclone, but we're going to be watching that over the next few days. The models have been showing it. Now, if we take a look at the northern hemisphere, this is about 10,000 feet. So you can see what is going on right now over the Gulf of Alaska, that cold air aloft. And you can see that pouring into the Pacific Northwest. They go through Wednesday and Thursday. Then the next cyclone out here eventually draping down across some Washington, Oregon. You can see the polar lobes moving across the northern hemisphere, and you can see other deep low pressure centers. Look at this one that spins up right there across western Alaska and across the Aleutian Islands there. So it's always fun to watch. As you can see Africa over here, this is the entire northern hemisphere. This is the Pacific Ocean and the Hawaiian Islands there. So sometimes I just like to put that into motion here and just watch the ebbing and flowing of that very cold air aloft or over the North Pole. Now, if we take a look at total snow 10-to-1 ratio, so we're going to scroll ahead here till Wednesday. You can see Wednesday late morning, we see some snow flying across British Columbia, Washington Cascades as we go through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Strong westerly flow, a lot of cold air aloft, perfect for the orographic addition of some snowfall to the Cascades here. And that is about Thursday afternoon. You can see some nice snowfall amounts, excuse me, for the Oregon Cascades and the Washington Cascades. Even some of the higher terrain of eastern Oregon showing up with some of that snowfall. Definite big pattern change coming on here as we go on in through Wednesday and Thursday. Now look at the temperature anomaly. First of all here, this was technically Sunday afternoon yesterday. So we're going to scroll through this afternoon. You can see still things are still above normal here for the most part across all the Pacific Northwest. But then those frontal systems start rolling in here, and watch the Wednesday one. Look at this start to swoop in here as we go through the day Wednesday. Big cool down incoming. The entire Pacific Northwest, again, you are going to feel this one as we go through the end of the week. And then that next deep low starts to form out here. This would be the atmospheric river pointing at Vancouver Island and potentially down towards Washington through the extended. And this is what the Doppler radar may look like here as we go over the next 60 hours or so. Here goes today's frontal system. You can see it is decaying as it moves inland. But then we go on into the day Tuesday, another round of rainfall here for western portions. And then some of this rainfall tries to get out for eastern portions as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Then Wednesday's frontal system swoops through. We're going to have shower activity here. There is a chance of thunderstorm activity. Convergent zone there, mainly north of Seattle. And yeah, we're going to have some active weather here going on the day Wednesday. Now looking at daily 2-meter minimum temperatures. So we're looking at British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Alberta's right here. Now this is for Tuesday morning. This is the minimum temperature, low temperatures here. And you can see not too bad across Washington and Oregon for the most part. Wednesday, you see a little bit of a cool down starting there, but look by Thursday morning, these temperatures really drop off. And again, that's that big pattern change. And then look at much of the west, the Intermountain West, very cold temperatures across portions of Oregon, British Columbia, Washington, especially the higher terrain. Then we go Saturday, Sunday, we start to modify a bit then. If we take a look at daily 2-meter max temperatures, again, still a little bit of, excuse me, a frog in my throat this morning, a little bit above average here across a lot of the valleys here for British Columbia. One more fairly warm day here east of the Cascades. And not bad here for the Willamette Valley as well before that frontal system gets here. We go on in through Tuesday. Here we go through Wednesday, and you can see the temperatures just absolutely crash on us as we go towards the end of the week coming up here. So these are the high temperatures, and you can see dropping us back down into the mid-50s for Seattle and some mid and upper 50s for the Willamette Valley. I also wanted to point out there's going to be some gusty winds with these systems rolling in here, especially the one on Wednesday. The westerly surge is going to be pretty dynamic. You can kind of see the winds picking up there in the east slopes of the Cascades across eastern Washington, Oregon. Decent westerly surge down the Strait of Juan de Fuca, for example, and you can see this cold air just kind of rolling into the Pacific Northwest shown there. And if we take a look at Snoqualmie Pass, when that snow is falling there in some of the higher terrain, I don't know how much is going to happen at Snoqualmie Pass, but you might get a couple inches, and it could be blustery out there at times. So it's definitely going to be some winter travel conditions across some of the passes as you go through the day Wednesday. So keep that in the back of your mind. Here's Quileute. You can see that system well off towards this weekend, showing potential for a little bit of wind there as well. We'll watch that one closely. And if we go to Whidbey Island, you can see that they kind of backed off on the westerly surge here, but it will be a little bit blustery. And then the potential for some wind as we go through this weekend also. We'll be watching that. And same thing with Bellingham there. Just wanted to kind of point that out. And I did get a nice shot of the comet there yesterday. And, with these systems moving in, it's really going to be hit and miss if we do get another shot of this over the next week to 10 days. But, there's always hope because in between systems, we can clear out and you might get a shot of that comet. And you can probably see it beyond the 24th as well. So we got that going for us. And this is what I got yesterday here from my home just south of Seattle. Check it out. You can see that cloud layer. Got a few pictures of it before it dove down into that cloud layer here. So yeah, very fun. You could see it better last night, definitely, than the previous nights with the naked eye. And again, looking at the total cloud cover, you can see as we scroll through the next, several days or so, not all hope is lost. So you can see as we go through Thursday afternoon, for example, you might be able to view the comet between some of these breaks in the clouds. So never give up hope. Now, taking a look at the 6 to 10 day above average for the Pacific Northwest. This goes through October 23rd. 6 to 10 day above average for a lot of Oregon here, and kind of a little bit of a clip there for northern Washington. Take that with a grain of salt. 8 to 14 days, something similar there as well. I wanted to point out the drought monitor here. Hopefully we can start putting a dent in this with some of these systems coming up. You can see we still have some severe drought across Washington, Oregon, a lot of moderate drought there as well. And some of western Montana really needs some rainfall. There is a little patch of exceptional drought there also. This was issued also a few days ago, 3 to 4 week temperature outlook, basically the end of October through the early portion of November. You can see the below average temperatures there and equal chances across a lot of the Intermountain West, and you can also see the above average there. So we'll see how that turns out. But anyway, there's also the risk of heavy precipitation. I believe they are pointing at this upcoming atmospheric river and just kind of broad brushing the Pacific Northwest, western portions here. We'll see how that goes. That would include British Columbia as well. So anyway, hope you guys are liking the channel. Check out the video on the bottom left there, Mount Rainier, lenticular cloud and aurora activity. 2 nights there was lenticular cloud and aurora activity here. It was just really kind of a dream shot. I asked for some help on the songs, and I tried to use slower music, some of the songs that I put out there in the poll, but I could not make it work. So I went with the little more upbeat music there. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Give it a try, see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. And hopefully you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.